Sorry you caught me reverently reflecting there. I'm Ottengroff, and today on the Untrained Ear, we're going to be getting into Kali Uchis' fifth debut record with Sincerely. So, released by Grammy Award winner, American singer, and songwriter Carly Marina Loaiza. Sincerely, as suggested in the final line of the opening track, is a dive into the journey and personal psyche of Carly or Callie from a cognitive perspective. This album is assuredly pop with strongly infused soul and jazz elements, also peppered in with some funk and gospel elements. This album is extremely ballad lent. There are a couple tracks, in fact, that go back to this sort of 70s, 80s ballad serenade style that kind of brings you back to the stereotypical like 80s prom movie. You can almost kind of picture the tiaras with the disco ball lights glimmering from them in the films as you're listening to some of these tracks. I have to say this right off the rip. Carly is absolutely a true and pure musician. She has a practiced vocal mastery that is irreplicable if you are not someone who understands the craft. Her ability to linger on lines and draw them through intuitively separates her from the vast majority of the crowd that we have in music today. She has this very phonetic, poetic delivery that she knows vowels and she knows sounds and she knows how to enunciate them, and she utilizes this tactically and stylizes her voice across tracks in order to enhance them. Here's a quick example. There is the sound ooh in the track Lose My Cool. The sound ooh is used in this awesome emphasizing way that really flows through and it carries you along like this almost jazzy, lazy river. And it's just this like cohesive force that is just used throughout the track to just like flow you through. And you're just riding those oohs all the way through. And it's hard to describe without listening. Please listen to this album. In addition to this, the transition work on this piece is immensely well orchestrated from beginning to end. You can tell that professionals have had their hands all over this thing. They have treated it with love and care, the love and care that it absolutely deserves. This thing was a master class in just about every phase that it was touched. There were professionals involved. All right, I want to start off talking about Sugar Honey Love. This is one of those 70s, 80s prom tracks that I was talking about. So in this one, just to set the scene for the vibe, you get these electric guitars that are very slow and intentional with these pace-keeping drums. You can already kind of get the vibe from that. And then you have these very jazzy vocals by Carly that are just silky smooth. And she executes all these little vocal tricks where she plucks her voice up, and it's very sudden and bursty, and I'm not a vocal coach or I would execute it for you, but she does this quick little like pluck up of her voice so that she can slide it down, and she slides it down so that the verses and the choruses can have these very smooth buttery descents, and it's like you're just riding like a river of caramel through this whole like track. You get this to accompany that, you get this awesome like sliding string as well that just flows along with it. And you also get mixed into that these little like dances of piano here and there, and the whole thing is just like gift wrapped and presented to you, and it's literally like a nice little like caramel chocolate for you to have, and it's just like beautiful. The whole thing is just wonderfully put together. Okay, talking about For You is an absolute must. This track is driven by the genre of jazz, and I'm going to get right into the vocal tricks here because one element that has to be talked on with every single track in this album is the vocal tricks, because that's just how Carly rolls. It's just an element that maybe separates her from most other artists. She's professional like that. You have to look at this. So with this one, you really get an emphasis on the letter S and that consonant, which helps soothe you really nicely in this track. It's very lulling. It's like snake hypnosis almost, the way she like really lingers on those S's. and it's accompanied by these dragged out vowels. And occasionally you even get these like vowel, like scat almost bounces, kind of reminiscent of the style of Jason Mraz. Man, that's a throwback. And then also she plays with her vibrato a lot in here. It's very jazzy, like freestyling kind of vibe, with all the vocal tricks. Okay. To go along with this, instrumentally, you get tambourine shakes, you get synth, which dances in the background. It's very quiet and mischievous. And then you get this like woodwind element as well. And the whole thing just gives you this nice, relaxing, just flowing track, and it just disarms you expertly. Just expertly. You just sink into it like a hot tub. Just sink into it. You're just lulled right in. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. So well done. Oh, gushing. Man, I could talk about so many tracks, but let's talk about Territorial. Okay, this one is a little different from a lot of this album. The piano here is this very dark, and it's dancing. It's this like driving force, I would say, throughout the majority of the track. There's also keyboard, and there are these like string plucks, and it's very like sinister. And there's also these like, it's so quiet. I didn't hear it on the first playthrough, and then the second one I heard it like just barely. And there are these like really quiet like Western electric guitar riffs that are also playing in the background. And with this one for the vocals, every syllable is just really patient and really focused, like a strut almost. The vocal style really reminded me of like Billie Eilish, like When We Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go album. Melanie Martinez's older stuff, just very intentional, very slow, very quiet, very focused. The vocal range is all over the place on this track. This Her vocals really play in the zone where she shines best, which is starting her lines up high and then letting them slide down into the low. She is really great on that slide down. And then in this piece, she also will flip the script on you, and she'll switch it around, and sometimes she'll go low and up, which is a nice like switch up that catches you off guard. It's very, villainous of her. And so there's almost, it's just really like um, coherent and symbolic. And as well, I wanted to mention that the whole vibe of everything, I did get the sense as I was listening, the way that the whole instrumental mix was coming together, it was almost like there was this like mystical like tango element that was happening in this track, which I thought was super cool if that was intentional. Which I'm sure, without like beyond shadow of a doubt, that it was intentional. So another home run. Can't talk about this album without talking about Angels All Around Me. This is a multi-phase track. It's probably the most complex on the album. You start off in the gospel zone. You get reverb vocals for Callie with harmonized backups. Um, the instrumental mix is very funk infused. And then for her performance, vocally, she really curls her words, if that makes sense. And then her rounds are very like short but performative. It's very gospel themed, which fits tonally, as the track is definitely religious. It's kind of the beginning to this religious phase that you hit in the album, where you get kind of that side of her psyche. It also is very positive, as compared to some of the previous stuff that you're getting on this album. This is more of an up toned portion or segment that you step into. So you get that for like the first half of the track, and then this really cool thing happens where there's this drum solo, and it has this very smooth genre switch up that hits you, and there's this transition that comes, and you are suddenly in a soul piece. and there's a complete pace and rhythm switch up. Suddenly, Callie is stretching out her syllables and she's flexing her rounds a little bit more. We get elements of funk in the instrumental mix, right? The drummer is just going nuts with the like jazzy improvisation, and then you got like mystical synth elements, and it's a very cool transitional blend piece, which is just impressively done to orchestrate something like this and to make it seamless and not like feeling very forced. um I was, you can't not be impressed by a track like this on an album like this, which does not feel like it's trying to push that kind of a boundary. And she kind of just does it quietly, and it works really well. So, had to talk about that. All right, well, I'm supposed to criticize this thing. And to be honest with you, this is a very daunting task because this thing is just laced with professional touch. I looked at the production team and it is copious. Uh, Very clearly, you can hear that when you're listening to the album, and yeah, they did a good job, like all of them. I will touch one thing, which I don't think it's a valid criticism, so I don't even know why I put it here. But I'm not so gung ho personally on the religious elements that come like later on in the album. I think that it kind of is a weird decision to inject in a piece that three quarters isn't that, and then you kind of like suddenly get that near the end. For me, it was a little odd, but I recognized that they were meaningful to her. And I think if you're going to put that in, everything that needs to be done to emphasize it and to usher in that step and execute it was done masterfully and in spades. I just don't think I can detract anything for the inclusion. I think for me it was a mistaste, but I don't think this is going to be a mistaste for most people. I think it stays true to what the album tonally is supposed to be, which is a look into the psyche. That's a part of her psyche. So I just don't think I can correct it truly on that. So this is one of those where I just finding myself really at a loss for how I'm going to work in any kind of constructive criticism. So I'll leave it to you guys. Let's start that one in the comments. We'll see if anybody's got anything for us to start talking about. I respond to everything, so if y'all got anything, please help me out. As for the baseless rating for this album, yeah, I'm sure you all saw this coming, but this thing's getting a towering 10.